Hello everyone, and welcome to our Cargill Confectionery Series. My name is Coco Joe, and in this video we'll be discussing confectionery coatings. These are also known as compound coatings, and they're developed and formulated with vegetable fats. Our goal with confectionery coatings is to mimic the flavor and the meltdown of real chocolate. But the two main differences are, real chocolate is made with cocoa butter, a more expensive ingredient, and so these confectionery coatings are less expensive. They also do not require tempering, which is a bit complicated, and it only relates to real chocolate. So their confectionery coatings are much simpler to handle. You've heard me say both confectionery coatings and compound coatings, two names for the same thing, and there are some other names that they're referred to. So look on the ingredient listing, and if you see palm kernel oil or others, you'll know that that's what you're working with. So in this video, we're going to review the best temperatures for melting and using the confectionery coatings, as well as the best conditions for cooling them. So each recipe of confectionery coating will have optimal melting and usage temperatures. We are using our Merkins confectionery coatings. Specifically, these are our Merkins Cocoa Dark. We recommend melting to 115 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit to start. The usage temperature, which is cooler, that would be the temperature you're going to mold or dip your coating. For Merkins is 98 to 102 degrees Fahrenheit. For example, some of our other coatings in our portfolio, our Peters and our Wilbur coatings, would have a different recommended usage temperature. It'll depend on the specific recipe and the fat blend of the confectionery coating. You can ask your supplier for the specific usage recommendations to get those temperature ranges that you'll need. And in the description of this video, you will find our Merkins, Peters, and Wilbur confectionery coating handling instructions. So heating over 125 degrees, one of the risks would be burning the coating. It also will thicken it. The milk proteins that are in the coating will thicken it up, and it will be very thick. If that does happen to you, let it get back down below 120, and it may come back to the normal flowability. So whatever means you use to melt your coating, if you have a double boiler, a rule of thumb is that the surface that the confectionery coating touches should not be too hot. If it's too hot for your hand to comfortably be touching, then it's too hot for your coating. So melting confectionery coatings, I think one of the easiest ways is in the microwave oven. It's fast, it's very efficient, but there are other ways. You can use a double boiler, which would use hot water. There are melters that use dry heat as well. In a larger scale where you might want to melt hundreds of pounds or more of confectionery coating, typically you'd use a tank that has a water jacket on it. The microwave is great, and you can either use plastic bowls or glass bowls. I prefer the plastic bowls because they don't get hot as you're using them, although when a glass bowl is microwaved, it will get hot. That actually helps to keep the confectionery coating melted, so you might see that as an advantage. It is best to have a microwave with the carousel to rotate the bowl as you're microwaving it. That's going to avoid hot spots, which could potentially burn the confectionery coating. If your microwave does not have that handy carousel, you'll want to stir much more intermittently. So measuring the temperature of the coating, whether it be your melting temperature or your usage temperature, I like to use a digital thermometer, insert it into the coating, because you're going to get an accurate reading. However, since these are just ranges, you don't need one exact temperature. An infrared thermometer, which measures surface temperature, will work just fine. These are great because they're quick and you don't get anything dirty. So they will measure the surface. So as long as you're stirring consistently and you've got the surface temperature to be equal to the rest of the coating, you'll get a good reading with an infrared. So either one of these will work great. So if we're going to melt, say, 2 to 3 pounds of confectionery coating in the microwave, I would stop every 30 seconds. Using high heat is fine, but give it a stir and mix it up to avoid those hot spots. 2 to 3 pounds of confectionery coating will probably take you 2 to 3 minutes or so to melt. This will depend on the strength, the wattage of your microwave. That would probably be for a 1,000 watt microwave oven. So we are ready to go. We're at our usage temperature range of 98 to 102. And we'll go through some of the popular uses of confectionery coating. My personal favorite is dipping, but also molding and decorating, which could be painting into your mold different colors, or stringing, or writing with the confectionery coating. So now that we're at the correct temperature for dipping, I like to use a fork, but there are plenty of great tools depending on what you're dipping. This is designed for something round, and this would also achieve the same thing. I've got a few pretzels here. So the cooling temperature for compound is very important. Compound likes cold temperature, specifically 45 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. If your choices are a room like this, which is 68 degrees, and a refrigerator, let's say you're working from home, a refrigerator is 38 degrees. That's really too cold. But in a pinch it will work. You just will not want to keep your pieces in the refrigerator for too long. If they get below the dew point temperature of your room, when you remove them from the refrigerator, you'll get condensation, and that's going to cause other problems. Once that condensation starts to dissolve the sugar, you're going to get what could be sugar bloom or other types of bloom on the piece. So use the refrigerator sparingly just until your confectionery coating is set up. Airflow is very important as well. So I have a fan here which is going to help in our 68 degree room. So I'll run my fan, which will help move this room air around. But the best cooling conditions, 45 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. You can get a cooling cabinet or a cooling tunnel and get to that specific temperature. You will get perfect results every time. Another popular use for the confectionery coating is molding, and I have this Christmas tree mold, which I will show. This is the type of mold where you'll need a way to hold this upside down to fill it. One of my favorite things is to put it in a jar with beans, and that will hold it. I've got this holder that works just fine. You can buy molds that actually have a built-in stand in them. A flat mold like this is much easier as well. So our coating is between our 98 to 102, and I'm going to end up making a hollow mold. So I'll fill it. As with most molding, if you do give it a little tap, you can buy a shaker table to help you with that as well. The nice thing about the clear molds is you can actually see if you've got air bubbles or not. And this is a two-piece mold, so they're clipped together with the clips. So I will put this in my cooling cabinet for just a few moments. It'll solidify from the outside. I'll want to get a thickness of at least 3 or 4 millimeters or more, depending on the weight that I'd like on the finished piece. And you could mold this solid, but I like to do them hollow. What's most important are those cooling temperatures, 45 to 55 degrees with airflow. This room is really too warm to solidify something that is going to be solid. You really need that 45 to 55 degrees with molded pieces, especially ones that are going to be thick. For something like the pretzels that we dipped that had a thin coating of compound, that temperature is not as important, but if you want those perfect results, 45 to 55 degrees is the temperature range you want for your molded pieces. Our hollow tree molded in confectionery coating has solidified. I had it in the cooling tunnel, a 45 degree cooling tunnel, for about 30 minutes. So it is hollow and ready to be decorated. We mentioned that the confectionery coatings are fat-based. Specifically, our white compound is palm kernel oil-based. So when you're coloring and flavoring your coatings, which there are so many different combinations you can do, your imagination is the only thing that will limit you to coloring and flavoring. You should use oil-based colorings and flavorings. Any water that's added to confectionery coatings will thicken it up. So this coloring is candy color. It does not contain water. And I have green, so I'm going to make a green creme de menthe coating. The white coating is vanilla flavored to start. So I'm just going to start with a couple drops. This is pretty concentrated coloring. And now the flavoring, this is an oil-based flavoring, and it will be to taste. So it's a bit of trial and error. I'll start with that amount. A pipette is also a handy thing or an eyedropper to drop in your flavor if it's a very concentrated one. And then of course I would taste and see if I get the intensity that I want, knowing that whatever I'm coating wouldn't have the flavor in it, so you might over-flavor your coating. If you're coating a cookie and you want a nice mint-flavored cookie, then you may add more mint to your coating than you otherwise would, knowing that the cookie's going to dilute that flavor. Decorating with compounds is a great way to add that finishing touch. We have our beautiful pretzels, and we're ready to decorate with this light green flavored coating. My favorite way is a pastry bag because it's very neat. A disposable one is great if you snip the edge, and it's a great, easy way to drizzle. A squeeze bottle works very well as well, and you can write on things with that. But a fast and easy way is just to use a spatula and do your drizzling with a spatula. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more videos in our Cargill Confectionery Series. I'm Coco Joe. Have a sweet day.